Welcome back to Hello Hemlock. So we were very lucky to have Ronnie join us this month to discuss Bottle Rocket Hearts by Zoe Whittall. And if you haven't checked out her video yet, go do that. She kind of starts us off, and I'm just going to kind of pick up where I want to. Great. Back in the swing of things already. It has been a while since Hello Hemlock had videos on it, and I apologize for that, but all of us had our own unique responsibilities and things that took up our time, and so unfortunately we couldn't make videos, though we really did plan to. Like, we had a whole lineup and we were ready, but it just didn't work out. But thank you to everyone who has stuck around and who has been excited about Hello Hemlock and asking us when we would be back. Here we are, we're back. So let's just jump right in. Limber up, get back in the Hello Hemlock zone. So like I said, we were very lucky to have Ronnie join us. She picked an excellent novel, and she did a great job introducing it and talking about it. So like I said before, go check out her video. And I'm just going to build off kind of what she says. And Ronnie gave us a very solid explanation of what goes on in the book. It's about Eve, a young woman who's about 19 years old, and it's sort of a coming-of-age story. Eve is entering into a new world. She's entering into like an urban queer community in Montreal, and she's in a relationship with Della, who is an older, more experienced woman, and she's figuring out who she is. And not only is she trying to figure out who she is as a person, individually, and also oftentimes in the novel, like in relation to Della, she's also kind of positioning herself politically. Ronnie already mentioned in her video the kind of fraught political landscape that was going on in the mid-90s in Quebec, and that's when this novel is set. So we see this play out, obviously, between characters in the novel. And Ronnie says that this novel is a character-driven novel, and it is. There isn't a lot of like action, really. It's more about the relationships between the characters and how they sort of navigate their own personal lives. But the political landscape is probably the one looming piece of actually like action on which like these personal stories are pinned. So the 1995 Quebec referendum basically meant that the separatists in Quebec wanted to separate. They wanted to have national sovereignty and be a separate state, while still kind of having economic and political ties to the rest of Canada. They just wanted to be their own state. So of course this sort of thing is put up to a vote, and when the vote did take place, it was like so close. It was so close. Let me just get my fact sheet here. I don't want to mess up these statistics. Alright, let's see. So when the referendum took place, 49.42% voted yes for separation, and 50.56% voted no. So it was crazy close. So knowing that statistic, you can imagine what kind of tensions there would be in everyday life at that time between people who wanted to separate and between people who didn't. And when I was kind of looking for information about the referendum, because I was alive and I know that it happened, but I mean I don't know a lot of details about it, I learned that the people who voted against separation were often centralized in like urban centers and kind of were part of a different, like, I guess, class than the people who were maybe in more rural areas of Quebec. And so even that, which isn't in the novel, she doesn't say really like explicitly that like it's the people in the cities who want to stay part of Canada, but that brings up interesting questions of sort of maybe not class necessarily, but sort of class issues that are definitely present in the way certain characters interact in the novel. But I would say that a relationship that is just as important in the novel as the one between Della and Eve is maybe like the grander relationship between Anglophone and Francophone Canadians in Montreal and in Quebec, and probably like Canada as a whole, because there are like a lot of instances in the novel when when Zoe Whittall makes reference to something called like two solitudes. And two solitudes is just, it's the idea of there being like a lack of like communication or understanding, or even like a lack of like wanting to understand each other between Anglophones and Francophones in Canada. And the term comes from a Hugh MacLennan novel called Two Solitudes, which is basically about that. So this much grander relationship kind of is played out between Eve and Della. Della has one parent who's Francophone and one who's Anglophone, but she identifies primarily with the Francophone and the separatist movement. Like, that's where her political work is. And Eve, on the other hand, comes from an Anglophone middle-class family. So these two in a relationship that kind of occupy different like social spheres for sure, are also kind of playing with this idea of nationhood and national identity and like what a Canadian would be or what a Francophone is. For example, there are a few instances in the novel where Eve either refuses to speak French or struggles to because she's self-conscious. She doesn't know French really. She's learning French. And Della interprets this as kind of distancing herself from the Francophone community or basically like all of the politics that Della believes in. Something else that I wanted to sort of talk about was what Ronnie mentioned about the opening of the novel, where we kind of have, you know, Eve writing in her journal, and it's very poetic and it's very, I don't know, it's just very emotional. Comes from an emotional place, obviously, and I think that something like that, you know, you kind of think this could go in a very cliched direction or a very just like oof, but like Ronnie said, towards the end of that first chapter, things definitely do take a turn, and I would say that Zoe Whittall kind of avoids cliche pretty well throughout this novel. I think that with coming of age stories, it's easy, probably. I mean, I've never written one, but I can imagine it being easy to slip into that cliched zone. But Zoe Whittall instead, I think that she handles it pretty well. And I'm very glad that we read this book this month and get to talk about it, because it's very interesting and there's a lot of stuff going on in it. Even though it's very slim, it's fantastic. So this is a bit of a shorter video, but I'm kind of like getting back in the rhythm, and we will have Jess, who will be doing a video shortly, and that'll go up. And then in the middle of the month, maybe early to middle month, we have Candace from Library and Fan Mail, who will be joining us again. And she'll be talking about The Town That Drowned by Real Mason. That's going to be our July discussion video. And then I'll wrap up that month, and then we'll go into the discussion of the new Kim Tween novel. That'll be in August. So, thank you very much for sticking with us. Thanks for watching. Like always, please leave your comments below, or tweet at us, or join us on Goodreads. Admittedly, we've not done the best job at keeping up with Twitter or Goodreads while everything else is going on in life, but it's something that we would like to do, and we intend to do. So we'll try our best, but meet us there and keep us accountable and all that stuff. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought of Bottle Rocket Hearts, and I will see you guys all soon. Okay, bye.